Okay, so today we're going to do grade 12 trigonometry. We're going to try to answer question 5 in 2018 question paper. Yep, so without wasting any more time, let me just get straight to the point, right? So 2018 question paper, paper 2, we have question 5. It says 5.1. In a diagram, P, k is to 1 is a point in the second quadrant and is 5, the root of 5 units from the origin. R is a point on the positive x-axis and obtuse ROP is equal to theta, right? So we're given a scenario here. I don't know if you want me to draw it, but I would love to draw it for you to just see what we are referring to. So they say that point P is in the second quadrant, somewhere around here, and that point P is k is to 1, and it is root of 5 units, and it forms an angle of theta size with the x-axis, and it starts from the origin. So we have the y-axis here and the x-axis here. So this is the scenario that we've been provided with, right? So the first question says calculate the value of k. Okay, well, in trigonometry, before you attempt on answering any questions, what you have to do first is what we call Pythagoras theorem, right? So Pythagoras theorem is a theorem that we utilize to calculate any side of any right angle triangle. So if we have a right angle triangle and we're missing one side, we can calculate that using a Pythagoras theorem. So as you can see here, we do have the radius from the line from the origin to the point K. We call that the radius. So we do have its length, and then we have the y coordinate of P, but we don't have the x coordinate of P, right? So we can actually calculate that. So as you know that P's coordinates is in terms of like x is to y, so k will be x and then 1 will be y, so we need x, right? So to calculate the value of x, before we attempt any questions that have been asked in the question paper, we're going to calculate x by saying x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Because this is paper 2, you have to provide a reason for every statement that you write. So the reason here is Pythagoras theorem. I'm just going to write t because I like space. So x coordinate is k, so k squared plus y is 1, so 1 squared is equal to r. R is root 5, that squared. So now we have k squared is equal to root of 5 squared. The square cancels the square root, so we left with 5. So we have 5. 1 squared is 1. When you transpose it to the right hand side, it becomes negative. So 5 minus 1, it's 4, right? So k is equal to the root of 4, right? K is equal to, it has to be plus or minus, right? It has to be plus or minus. But then note that k is on the second quadrant, and then on the second quadrant x is negative, so that means that the value of k is negative, right? So what is the root of 4? Root of 4 is 2, so the answer is going to be negative 2. So that means k is equal to negative 2. So we do this thing first before we attempt any question, right? So now let's get to the question. 5.1.1 says calculate the value of k. Fortunately, we have already done that. So it is very important for you to analyze the information that have been given before you attempt any questions. This is very helpful because some of the questions you would have already answered when you get to them. So the first question we have already answered as you can see, because they want the value of k and we have already calculated it. So the second question says calculate without using a calculator the value of tan theta. So 5.1.2, remember that 5.1.1 k is equal to negative 2. So 5.1.2 says calculate without using a calculator the value of tan theta. So tan theta, so theta is this angle, right? So calculating tan theta, remember that tan theta is opposite divided by adjacent, right? But in this case, opposite is always y, adjacent is always x, and then hypotenuse is always r. What I mean is, if we draw like a straight line, a line that is parallel to the y-axis and perpendicular to the x-axis, the height here is going to be this y coordinate, and then the length here is going to be the size of, the value of this k, which is -2. So it's going to be 2 here, and it's going to be 1 here, right? So we have that right angle triangle. So the angle is going to be opposite over adjacent. So that's y over x, right? So what is the x? What is the y value? Y value is 1. And then what is the x value? X value is the one that we just calculated. It is -2. So that means tan theta is equal to -half or -1 over 2. Done. 5.1.3. I'm sorry, that was 5.1.2a. So now we're at 5.1.2b. It says calculate cos 180 plus theta. So cos 180 degrees plus theta, right? So 180 plus theta is in the third quadrant, right? So because we have 180, we're just gonna leave cos to be the same. However, in the third quadrant, cos is negative, so that's negative cos of theta, and it's negative cos of theta. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent is x, hypotenuse is r. So what is the value of x? The value of x is -2. So in brackets, -2 divided by, and then the hypotenuse is r, and then r, the value of r is the √5, right? So that means that cos 180 plus theta is equal to negative times negative is positive. So that's 2 over √5. So that is the answer there. Okay, the next question, C. They're saying calculate the value of sine theta plus 60 degrees in the form a plus b divided by √20. This is the first time I've ever made a question like this, but I'll see what happens as I go on with the question. I didn't expect something like this, but then it's also my first experience dealing with a question like this. With that being said, that means that it's the first time attempting this question paper, so I don't know what I should expect. But I think we're just going to utilize the compound angle. I'm not sure about that, but hopefully it is that, and I'm going to be able to ultimately find the answer that they are looking for. So they're asking for sine theta plus 60 degrees. So firstly, because this is my first time trying this question, if it happens that the first time I get it wrong, please don't judge me. It just shows that it is the first time me trying it, so I'm gonna try different ways to try to get whatever they're looking for. So I'm going to try the compound angle first. So the compound angle of sine theta plus something, it is sine theta multiplied by cos 60 plus cos theta multiplied by sine 60, right? So because 60 is a special angle, we don't even need a calculator for that, because they said without a calculator. We know that sine 60 is equal to √3 over 2, and then cos 60 is equal to half, so we don't even need a calculator for that. So cos 60 is half. But then what about the sine theta? Sine theta, because this is in terms of theta, we just go back to our diagram here. So sine of an angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is represented by y, and the value of y is 1. So 1 over, and then hypotenuse is represented by r, and the value of r is √5. So it is 1 over √5. Plus sine 60. Sine 60 is √3 over 2. What about cos theta? Cos theta, remember that it is opposite, adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent is represented by x, and the value of x is -2. And then hypotenuse is represented by r, and the value of r is √5. Right. So now it seems like we're gonna have the same denominator, so we're just gonna add the numerators. So 1 multiplied by 1 is 1 over 2 √5. 2 multiplied by √5 is 2 √5. Positive multiplied by negative is negative. 2 multiplied by √3 is 2 √3 divided by 2 multiplied by √5 is 2 √5. Right. So in this case, I don't know if they want us to rationalize the denominator, but I'm gonna try to do that. Let me try to rationalize the denominator, because they're saying that the answer should be in the form a plus b divided by √20. So I guess it should be, the denominator should be √20, right? So what I'm gonna do is rationalize the denominator. So I'm gonna be like 1 minus 2 root 3, because we have the same denominator, 2 root 5. What I'm gonna do is multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2 root 5. I don't know if that's gonna give me what I am looking for. I don't think that's gonna give me what I'm looking for. Let me check. Is root 20 equal to 2 root 5? Let me just check that. If it is equal to, then I'll just change that. I'm just checking here. So what is root 20? Root 20 is root 4 multiplied by 5, which is root 4 multiplied by root 5, and then root 4 is 2 root 5. So that means these two are equal, right? So I'm not even gonna do this. Forget this step here. We don't need to do that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but we don't have to do it in this case. So I'll just continue on the next of it beside it. So this is equal to 1 minus 2 root 3 divided by 2 root 5, right? And then we know that 2 root 5 is equal to root 20. So 1 minus 2 root 3 divided by root 20. I think this is what they are looking for, because they said in the form a plus b divided by root 20. So I think this is what they are looking for, because this is 1 minus 2 root 3 over 20. So I guess in this case, because they said they were in the form a plus b over root 20, in this case, that means our a is equal to 1 and our b is equal to negative 2 root 3, right? So moving on to the next question. The next question says, use a calculator to calculate the value of tan 2 theta minus 40 degrees, correct with 1 decimal place. Okay, now they're looking for a different trigonometric function, which is tan theta. So they're saying that we should calculate with the use of a calculator, calculate tan 2 theta plus or minus, I'm sorry about that, minus 40 degrees. Let me just erase that. So it's minus right there. So tan 2 theta minus 40 degrees, because tangent does not have any compound angles. They do have, like, tangent do have the compound angles and the double angles. However, it is very complicated and it's very long to calculate. It's very tedious. So we're going to convert this into sine over cos, which is an identity of tangent. So this is going to be equal to sine of 2 theta minus 40 degrees divided by cos of 2 theta minus 40 degrees. All right. Now we're going to utilize the calculator, right? So utilizing the calculator, we're going to substitute. We're going to just use this. We're going to utilize the compound angle. So the compound angle of sine 2 theta multiply cos 40 degrees minus cos 2 theta multiply sine 40 degrees, right? And then the compound angle of cos 2 theta degrees cos 40 degrees minus, plus sine 2 theta multiplied by sine 40 degrees. So here, I don't know what cos 40 is, but then because they say that we can utilize the calculator, that is not going to be any problem. The only problem that we have is expanding this double angle. So the double angle of sine is 2 sine theta cos theta, that multiplied by cos 40 degrees minus, and the double angle of cos, we have 3 options, but I'm going to utilize the most easiest one. So I'm going to put sine 40 outside and multiply it by, let me write everything in terms of sine. So 1 minus 2 sine squared theta, all right? All this divided by cos 2 theta, 1 minus 2 sine squared theta, multiplied by cos 40 degrees. I hope that you can see my handwriting. I know it's a little bit messy, but you have to forgive me. Plus 2 sine theta cos theta multiplied by sine 40 degrees. Now, because everything is in terms of theta and 40 degrees, we can just substitute and also press our calculator, right? So we know what sine theta is, what cos theta is, right? So from our diagram here, we have found out that sine theta is 1 over root 5, and cos theta is negative 2 over root 5. So from our diagram, we know that sine theta is equal to 1 over root 5, and cos theta is negative 2 over root 5. We found that out from our diagram, right? So I'm just going to note that. So wherever see sine theta, put 1 over root 5, and wherever see cos theta, put negative 2 over root 5. So we have 2. What is sine theta? Sine theta is 1 over root 5. What is cos theta? Negative 2 over root 5. This multiplied by cos 40 degrees, because we don't know what cos 40 degrees is. We're only going to utilize our calculator to help us with that. So sine 40 degrees multiplied by 1 minus 2. What is sine theta? It is 1 over root 5, the whole thing squared. This whole thing divided by 1 minus 2. What is sine theta? 1 over root 5, that squared, multiplied by cos 40 degrees, plus 2. What is sine theta? 1 over root 5. What is cos theta? Negative 2 over root 5. That multiplied by sine 40 degrees. So from here, we just press a calculator. So pressing our calculator, we're gonna get 2 multiplied by 1 over root 5 multiplied by negative 2 over root 5 multiplied by cos 40, right? We're going to get an answer. Then that answer minus sine 40 multiplied by 1 minus 2 multiplied by 1 over root 5 squared. Okay, this is the answer, right? Negative 0.998 whatever. This answer divided by, I'm just going to press everything as a whole, 1 minus 2 multiplied 1 over root 5 squared. Wait, right? This multiplied by cos 40, and then plus 2 multiplied by 1 over root 5. I hope that you can see that. Root 5 multiplied by negative 2 over root 5. When you're pressing a calculator, you have to be very careful. Make sure that you're pressing everything correctly. So this is the answer. What? Why is this saying syntax error though? Did I say answer though? Oh, I did. So what happened? Okay, let me see. Let me just check if I pressed everything correctly. 1 minus 2 multiplied 1 over root 5 squared. That multiplied by cos 40. And then multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1 over root 5 multiplied by negative 2 over root 5 multiplied by sine 40. So I don't need this, do I? And I don't need it. I don't need it. Okay, yeah. So now the answer is 18.2. How many decimal places did they want? Okay, they wanted it in 1 decimal place. So the answer is 18.3. So the answer here is 18.3. You see how frustrating it is to get to press the calculator incorrectly. You're gonna get stuff like syntax error, and you think that you got everything wrong. So you have to make sure that you press the calculator very carefully and very accurately to make sure that the answer that you get is correct, you know what I'm saying? Because if you get stuff like syntax error, you think that you got everything wrong, then you think you start over again, wasting more time in your examination room, and maybe the second time you're trying to do it, you're gonna get it wrong because you think that the first time you did it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So be very careful when you press a calculator. Make sure that you become like you press everything slowly and you check before you, like after writing one, you check that you have written it, like you have written it in the correct way and at a correct space. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope that I made a difference in the knowledge that we had for mathematics, trigonometry. This is gonna be the end of my video, and I'm gonna continue with the next questions in the next video. So I appreciate that you have watched the video, and also don't forget to subscribe and like and comment anything that you can do just to show that you have appreciated watching this video. Will be very helpful for me. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day.